The 2024 NBA draft is right around the corner, and this year's draft is widely considered to be one of the weaker drafts in recent memory. While this year's class doesn't have an obvious superstar caliber player like Luka Doncic, Zion Williamson, or Victor Wembanyama, there are still a lot of talented players who can be very productive in the NBA. The consensus number one overall prospect this year is Alex Sarr, a French big man who can protect the rim at a high level and has a unique offensive skill set for his size. Today, we're going to dive into Sarr's game and see what makes him such an intriguing prospect and why I'm not exactly sure that he is the best player in this year's draft. The first thing I want to note about Alex Sarr is his physical tools, and his physical tools are extremely impressive for a 19-year-old. Sarr is 7'1", 224 pounds, and has a 7'4.5" wingspan. Those are insane dimensions, and because he has a thin frame, he's able to move better than most players with his height. Having great length and athleticism is extremely valuable because it allows you to cover a lot of ground on defense, and if you have a good handle, which Sarr does, you can be a huge mismatch on offense. I'm sure some people are a little bit concerned that he doesn't have a thicker frame, but players with this body type have become more common in recent memory, and over the last couple of drafts, we've seen big men with thin frames be really successful early on in their NBA careers, including Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley. In my opinion, Alex Sarr's physical tools give him a huge advantage, and I'm not worried about his frame at all. One area in which Sarr puts his physical tools to good use is on defense, and I would say that this is probably the best part of his game. This past season, Sarr was very impressive on this end of the floor, especially as a shot blocker, sporting a block rate of 8%, which ranks in the 76th percentile among big man prospects since 2018. Sarr does a great job of utilizing his length to erase shots at the basket, and he is able to generate a ton of blocks while limiting fouls, averaging 4.8 blocks per 40 minutes compared to just 4.4 fouls, for a block-to-foul ratio of 1.09, an elite mark for a big man. Being able to wreak havoc on defense without committing silly fouls is a very underrated skill in my opinion, and some of the best defenders in the NBA right now are extremely good at this, including Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama. Unfortunately, Sarr doesn't rack up many steals, and this can sometimes be an indicator that someone won't be great at defending on the perimeter in the NBA, but I'm not really concerned about this with Sarr because he is extremely agile, and he has shown the ability to stay in front of shorter, quicker ball handlers without getting blown by. Overall, I think Sarr is a very good defensive prospect, and I think he has the potential to be a pretty strong rim protector in the NBA. Switching to the offensive end of the floor, we see that Alex Sarr has a very unique and versatile offensive skill set. Unlike a lot of young 7-footers, Sarr is not a low-post scorer, and he doesn't just operate as a roll man in pick and rolls. Of course, he's a good lob threat, and he has the size and athleticism to be a great rim runner at the next level, but what intrigues me a lot about his offensive game is the fact that he is very willing to shoot threes. This past season, Sarr attempted 4.3 threes per 40 minutes, had a three-point attempt rate, which is the percentage of his field goal attempts that were threes, of 27%, and shot 70.7% from the free throw line. His three-point percentage wasn't good, but the fact that he shot so many threes at such a young age and had a decent free throw percentage indicates that he has legitimate upside as a long-distance shooter. Another area in which Sarr is impressive on offense is his playmaking. Just to be clear, he is not an elite passer who dominates the ball and generates a ton of assists. However, he is a very willing passer, and when he drives to the basket and draws the defense towards him, he's able to make passes to open teammates, and that's a valuable skill for a 7-footer to have. His playmaking profile is very solid for a big man, and although he didn't have a very high assist rate this past season, he is a good decision maker who limits turnovers, and his film shows that he has impressive passing chops for his size. Sarr is a fascinating offensive player who provides a unique combination of size, athleticism, rim finishing, three-point shooting, and playmaking. Now, he isn't elite in all of these areas, and I don't think he's going to be a high-usage offensive player who initiates the offense at the next level. However, I do think he provides a lot of skills and can be a nice second or third option who provides value as a rim runner, three-point shooter, and secondary playmaker. Alex Sarr has a ton of potential, and there's a lot to like about his game right now. However, there are a few issues with his profile in my opinion. For starters, he is shockingly bad as a rebounder for his size. This past season, he had an offensive rebound rate of just 8.8% and a defensive rebound rate of just 18.2%. And these are very underwhelming marks for a 7-footer. I think the fact that he plays on the perimeter a lot on offense can explain why his offensive rebound rate is a bit low, but that doesn't really explain why his defensive rebounding numbers are the way they are. So I don't really know what's happening there. Also, I know that rebounding isn't sexy, but it's a pretty important part of the game, and the fact that Sarr doesn't have good rebounding numbers is disappointing. Another thing that concerns me with Sarr's game is his scoring numbers inside the arc, which aren't very good for a big man. This past season, he shot just 57.8% from 2 on 11.6 attempts per 40 minutes, and he had a free throw rate of just 38.4%. And these numbers are average to below average for a big man prospect. It's important to consider that Sarr does take a good number of off-the-dribble mid-range jumpers, and these are tough shots, especially for a guy his size, and so that can explain why his 2-point scoring numbers aren't great. Unfortunately, this is a big problem, because to be able to take these types of shots at the next level, he's got to be a great shot maker. And if he's not going to be a great shot maker, he's going to have to change his shot diet. The fact that Alex Sarr's game is more perimeter oriented than a lot of young big man prospects is extremely impressive, and it means that he has high upside. However, he is not great yet in a lot of areas that are important for this type of role, like three-point shooting and playmaking. And if he doesn't improve in these areas, I don't think he's going to be able to play this role at the next level. And I think there's a lot more risk with his profile than some of the other big man prospects in this year's draft. Regardless, Alex Sarr is one of the best players in this year's class, and his combination of youth, size, athleticism, and versatility on both ends of the floor make him a fascinating prospect. His ability to protect the rim and shoot threes is really impressive, and it makes his consensus #1 ranking completely understandable. However, I do have some concerns about his game, like his interior scoring, rebounding, and ability to carry a large offensive load. Considering his potential to be a center who can provide a lot of value on both ends of the floor, I understand why the Atlanta Hawks might take him with the #1 overall pick. I can't wait to watch Alex Sarr in the NBA because he has immense upside, and I think he can be a phenomenal two-way player in the right situation.